feels so humble about that.
Yes. So let us read what Yama himself says about himself. It is Rishi Yama Vaivasvata, so it is him. And
Why
Devata,
is Vaivasvata? Why do they say not just Yama, but Yama Vaivasvata?
Vaivasvata shows the parentage, where he is coming from, his origin, yeah? Who are his parents? It's like a family name.
I see.
So all rishis have family names, yeah. For example, Vasishta is Maitra Varuni. He will be, his parents are Mitra and Varuna. So to say, he originates in this line. These are becoming lines, or these gotras later.
So which gotra does that become?
No, well, it has. I think the gotras are so many of different rishis. Vaivasvata Yama, I think this would be a gotra himself from Vivasvat.
Vivasvat, of course.
Vivasvat is the lord of the sun, and that's what we were reading before. The hymn 1013 was his own hymn about him. He spoke from the first name. Now Yama speaks from the first name, and notice Rishi is Yama Vaivasvata, but Devata is Yama.
So that has a lot of authority to me when it says, when he is clear enough that he's observing his own self, that he's observing the way he himself functions in the universe and in the way he creates creation from within himself. I like that. I like that observation.
Yeah, that would be exactly this, that he will be speaking the way how he sees things, and about himself as the Devata. So it's in this sense, it explains why rishis were called rishis and gods are gods, because the one who speaks and the one about what he speaks. Yeah, it's these two meanings. So let us look into the first verses. Pareivansam pravato mahihanu bahubhyah pantham anupaspashanam Vaivasvatam samgamanam jananam yamam rajanam havisha bhuvasya. Honor the king with thine oblations. Yama, Vivasvan's son, who gathers men together, who traveled to the lofty heights above us, who searches out and shows the path to many. I like Griffith because he translates it in the poetic rhythm. You can hear this poetry. He has a very good sense of the syllabic rhythm. It sounds like poetry. So let us go word by word. Pareivansam pravato mahihanu pareivansam anupaspashanam is these two accusatives, Vaivasvatam, Samgamanam, Yamam, Rajanam. It is all accusative singularis. So it is all describing Yama. Yama who went abroad, literally who has gone abroad. Para Ivansa. Ivas, it is perfect participle. The one who
Can we talk about going abroad?
Definitely, we are reading for this purpose.
Because going abroad would mean he goes out from his abode.
Right.
He's going out from where he abides. So is it like he's going out of the transcendental into manifestation? He's going out into manifestation.
Opposite. I think this is the movement of But both ways, of course. It is the movement from this embodied state to that beyond, yeah, to the transcendental. Paraivan.
But that's not abroad. That's the self.
It is the abroad. It is transcendental. Transcendental means abroad, actually, literally. Means trans means abroad. So on another shore, there is a gap in between, and on another shore there is something else. There is a border in between. Para means crossing the border. So the crossing the border.
Is that the word that is used, para?
Yeah, para means yes, exactly
Is
this.
that the word that's in the text?
Yes, this is here, the first word. You can see it. Oh, you cannot read.
Oh, I see it. Para. Yeah, para.
Pareivansa. Pareivansa, Ivansa has gone. Para means abroad. So he went to the other shore. He died. I do not know why you object to this Paraivansa in the sense that he could not go abroad. He went abroad. That's dying. Dying is going abroad, going out of this body, leaving the material manifestation. Soul goes out, goes into its own realm, where it rests in that lofty space. And here it is everything described exactly. Who traveled to the lofty, traveled, he translates, yeah? He traveled to the lofty heights above us. So, and I'm more direct. I'm using what it is said, para.
Well, para, I understand.
And para is a transcendental or the highest. Para Brahman or yes,
Right.
Brahma.
Right.
But the meaning of the para is first meaning. You can open the dictionary and see for yourself what it means. The first meaning of this is away, off, aside, yeah? And then along, on, and so on, as a prefix to the nouns and proverbs. Paras also, I should see. Beyond, further, off, away. This is the meaning. Away or beyond. Beyond is a better word.
Beyond is a better word, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm using beyond here in my interpretation. Who traveled into the great worlds beyond. So, so it is him who went beyond to the greater worlds, Mahih, Pravatach. Also, Pravatach is also Pravat, basically means again the same. Pra and Para are very close in meaning. Pra means forward or away from oneself, yeah, stepping out of oneself. Para means beyond or abroad, transcendental. Bahubhyah pantham anupaspashanam. Anupaspashanam, here is spash root is used. Very rare root.
Spush. Spush.
Right. Yeah. Paspashana is the perfect.
Push. Pus.
Splash, spashtam from here. We have spashtam clear. It's used in Hindi today, splashed. But it is splash root which created the root pashyati, to see. Without s dropped. But then pashyati was delegated to Rudrish by grammarians. But this is a total mistake. Not mistake, it's just a necessity to assign this root to some other root. From here we have Pashu also. Pashu is animal, and Pashupati is lord of animals, Shiva. But Pashu is not an animal, but perceptive being who has consciousness, who can see. Yes. So spash root is to see or to clarify, yeah, to perceive. So anupaspashana is the one who made others see or who showed them the path. But pantham anupaspashanam, who clarified the path to the many, bahubhyah. Yeah, and the second.
So that actually has just that analysis that you just did, breaking it down and evolving it, shows a lot about Yama's character and Yama's uh, his role.
Right. Well, it's the first line is the most essentials. He went abroad. He went to beyond worlds where the souls are coming from. So he found the way back, and he showed this way to many. To many, the way was made for them to travel back to the origin. So when they leave their bodies, they will know the path. He made it for them. He made the path, clarified. Actually, he didn't make it. It was there, but he clarified. He traveled it. And then second line, the one who showed the path to many and has gathered them there. So to say, Vaivasvatam, to the son of Vivasvat, Samgamanam Jananam, the gathering of all the beings who are born here in this body. And this is something interesting. Samgamanam Jananam, this, of the ones who are born here, he is the gathering point, the meeting point for all being born here. So Yama is the meeting point.
Uh-huh. Well, that may be why he was called the Lord of Death, because he is that gathering point. That is certainly one thing that every being born on earth has in common with every other being, that everyone will be dying. Everyone will die.
Right. Yes, but dying is not his business. His business is those souls have to be gathered and not really bodies killed. And here he's never called the Lord of Death or something in the Rig Veda.
Right.
You will not find this in the Rig Veda. You will find it only later, much later, when he becomes the Lord of Death.
Right.
He is rather Vaivasvat. Vaivasvata is the Lord of the Sun now, the Son of the Sun. Yamam Rajanam. Yama, Duvasya is basically, I interpret here, energize him with your oblation. I found a new way to translate Duvasya. Duvasya, respect, honor, worship, celebrate, reward. Yeah, but this is addiction meaning. Duvasya is from duvas, from du root. And this is something else. You can see du as pain, distress. Duvas would have also stirring, restlessness in it, because it is duality. And this duality, this shaking sense, is the energy and the fire. Duvas is also a fire. And that means fire up him with oblation, so to say, energize him with oblation, yeah? Make him flame with oblation, make him shine, make him full of energy. So taking all that into account, I would energize him with your oblation, Avisha, with your offering. The king, the Lord of Yama.
So the oblation in this case is the sacrifice.
Havis.
Hmm?
Havis, Havisha. Havis is actually mainly, it is translated as offering. Yeah? It can be oblation. Oblation because the fire, and the best is this Garita, the clarified butter or soma, because it helps the fire grow. And Havis, it is literally from root hu to invoke and make oblation. By the way, these two meanings in one root is also significant.
Yeah.
When you invoke gods, you offer them the delight of your being or the clarity of your mind. Clarity of your mind is Grita, and the delight of your being is Soma. So you make an oblation, you make an offering, a proposition to them. So to say, you feed them through fire. And this is invoking. You cannot invoke without offering something. Invocation is offering. That's kind of interesting.
Now, a question that I've held in this regard over a long period of time, because I was originally exposed to Sanskrit by somebody who was entrained in that kind of Brahmana tradition. So, like, for example, as you and I and Radhe and Jonathan and Penny and all who are kind of going deeply into these texts, there emerges from this clarity and delight, which, because we've done a mantra and we've offered it to gods, does it count the same as doing the prescribed actions and all the prescribed texts by only brahmanas who are born into those families and who actually follow the prescribed paths? And
definitely, there must be something there, because you see, it's not because they are doing it that it is there, but they are doing it because it is there. You see the difference in the same sentence, but makes two opposite meanings. It's kind of funny how semantics.
But they can do it because it's there and still
Right.
not have.
And still have something, some crumbs, even if you are not totally aware of what you're doing, but because it is there, it will be still there, even if you kind of narrow it down to completely mechanical action and don't think even about it, it will be still doing something to you. And not because they are doing and then it is there. That's what I wanted to say. It's not because of their doing that it is there.
Right.
But because
Absolutely
it is there, not. They are doing and it is still there. In spite of.
Well, it's there because it's always there.
Right. But they are always dealing with it. Can you imagine all their life they deal with these texts? So.
And they do give up a lot right. to be able to do that. I mean, they do their whole life is really one of sacrifice.
Right. They have to preserve the text. They have to learn the text perfectly by heart. It's a big.
And they have to show up every morning at the same time, and they have to go through the motions, and they have to pull all the objects together. But there's so many in these times that just do it because it's there and not because it's there, and not because and there's a kind of an arrogance that has kind of taken over the caste in a way.
Well, it's no wonder it's such a authority of knowledge, Not to become arrogant would be kind of difficult.
Well, it needs to be that way, but
at least for many people. But for some people who really got into meaning of it, they can't be very arrogant. But those who didn't get into meaning, of course, for them, form is everything. And form is the oldest, the most significant.
But the question is, I guess this is the big question that Buddha and many people
Mm,
brought out: is the form required?
mm.
Is the form the thing, or can you can come to it and bypass the form, or use the form in a different way than what's prescribed in um, in the Karma Mimamsa.
Yeah, but you see, in Rig Veda, nothing is prescribed. And all the rest, the whole attempt to fix it in the society and in the culture was to create rituals. Rituals are coming later. They are not in the Rig Veda. So it was a new attempt to come to meaning of it, yeah, because the meaning is too high and too profound for the human consciousness to grasp it. So it created all this kind of ritualistic life, which preserved the text and did very good for us to have now access to this luminous text. And at the same time, it transformed a lot of physicality and physical consciousness and vital and mental. If you look at India, it is very perceptive, or everybody, even those rickshawalas and so on, they are not stupid beings. They are much higher, much more intelligent than anywhere else in the world. And I'm
True.
not joking. It's really so. Ammas from the village, who are coming to work, they're so beautiful beings. They are so concentrated. They can go deep into meditation for hours. Nobody taught them. They already have this ability to be calm and to be happy and to be, you know, unbelievable. And Sri Aurobindo spoke about it in the Alipur jail. He said, if you compare these thieves and robbers in Alipur jail, Indians from Calcutta, with the robbers and thieves in UK, somewhere in London, you would see the difference. Yeah? There is a huge difference in consciousness. And it's true. Even those thieves and robbers, they are having. So that is the result of this repetitive, so seemingly unconscious repetition of the text over thousands of years. I think it does its work.
Okay.
I,
But
I
but
hope.
but I mean, even those of us who've had this very rough birth and um, alcoholic parents and all of this, we can still have. I mean, if we come to the text, we can still participate in.
Sure. We are seeking something more than they have. They already established something in their physicality, but they are not looking for answers. They presume that they have them already. But we are looking for answers. We are looking for meaning. It is, for me, it's much more valuable than to be that, sattvic being. Sattvic being is good, but it's not enough. I want more. I want knowledge, and to see how things are, to understand this world and oneself, myself.
Yeah, it would be good to understand the world. It certainly, yeah, it would be good to understand it, because it seems, it's very perplexing.
Right. But what it does here, it pushes us into the realms which are inner, yeah? And shows us the whole plan of the group soul, of the humanity coming down, what we are here for. It doesn't really totally correspond to the physical scientific reality, yes? Because science didn't come yet to those realms, to those subtle realms, didn't develop
It's
this
approaching,
language.
I think. It is approaching. They are
Approaching.
talking about unified field now.
Sure. There are many things which are absolutely wonderful nowadays, especially in the fields of psychology and also this life after death and so on and so forth.
Physics is coming. Physics itself
Physics also, yes, quantum
coming to the
mechanics.
unified field. I mean, a generation ago, they didn't have any thoughts about this. I mean, Einstein did perhaps, but it's coming to be widely accepted that there is a unified field at the basis of the four other fields, the strong interaction, weak and electromagnetic and all that, that there's a unified basis to them all.
Yeah, now they are calling it so, but it is actually they need ether for this, which they denied in the first place. I think it was a mistake, big mistake to really discard this concept of ether. This is the unified field, which allows all these different forces to coexist: gravitational pull with electromagnetic force, and so on. But even more now, they are looking into the life after death, and they see something something is happening. Some being is leaving, and you can even register it by the physical means. That means on the level of gamma radiation and X-ray and so on and so forth. They see that something is going on. This is scary, because then what shall we do? We are kind of we have to prove that what we discarded in the first place. This view, that there is more to the physical reality than only physical reality. There is some spiritual reality. And interestingly, Sri Aurobindo beautifully explains this. He says, where would we find then mind in matter? When we go into matter, we can't find it. We can't find vital in it, in the atoms. We can't find anything in it which develops on the basis of it. And then he says, we cannot find it because it is in the energy. It's in the energy of relations, not in the particles. It is in that energy, the vital and the mind is already there waiting to evolve. And this is something interesting.
But you can't, I mean, you can find vitality and the vital in matter, certainly. I mean, any psychic can tell, everybody sees that.
No, you are speaking about subjectively, and we are talking now scientifically. That means with the concept, we see the particles and we see the energy. We don't see mind or vital or anything. We can't see it, we can't touch it, but it is there in the seed form, in the energy. This energy is that unifying field you are mentioning, which will, intelligently evolve and give the evolution of forms. They speak about intelligent design, that that bug or some kind of could not evolve to that perfection if there would be no specific changes, smallest changes, for example, 100 million years back. So who really could see all this path of development of intelligent designs of all the creatures? It's really something to think of. So smallest change there would deviate from this path, and there would be no evolution, no forms, no life. So everything is so tightly made, intelligently organized by some forces. I'm sure they are at work. They are not just a plan at the beginning, but the whole movement is correlated by these forces, by these Pitris, by the Devatas.
Well, so yes, so there's where I want to go right in right there. So that place is where Yama enters. Is that thing that you just described, which I can't repeat because it was so precise, but that thing that you just described, isn't that what is being exposed or expounded here in this verse?
Right. It is this exactly, how to embody the beings, and that's why he is the entry point for all those who are born here, because he will be correlating their movements. The movements of the embodied beings here in matter will be creating these forms and giving it charge to this mind and vital. which is there in the energy. So this will be formed and reformed into the beings, into the suitable instruments, tools for the spirit, which wants to have an embodiment. So it builds up slowly the body and embodies in it. By embodying in it, it builds it. In time, it will be ready for the highest capacity of the spirit. So that's the whole Nitriyana concept. Yeah, this is the gathering point for all the creatures. That means there is someone who, or the sun, with the offspring of the sun, so to say, the representative of the Vivasvat, the embodied being, who is mm, uh, who is doing this in embodiment or manifestation in our sense. He is the Lord. He is the supramental being, and all the transcendental worlds through him embody into this world. So all the souls, everybody comes through him. And
Through, are we talking about through Vivasvat or through Yama?
through Vivasvat, yeah. And Yama is his representative. He will be gathering all his works, all his lofty beings into one particular path, into the meaningful work in time, which is the sacrifice. So even physically, if you look at our solar system, you would see that there is something interesting about it. The sun and the moon. Moon is closer to the earth and rotates around, and earth rotates around the sun, and the sun is embodying the Godhead for our system. It's not just the bubble of gas burning,
No. Well, they call it the sun. I mean, the soul, but it's more than that. I mean, it's like you said, it's the whole transcendental and the whole heavenly, the focus of the heavenly
right.
consciousness here on Earth.
Yeah, if we want to go to the transcendental, this is the gate. The sun is the gate. We cannot fly out somewhere into the space, seeking beyond this world. There is no outgoing. There is no door in the space. There is a door to the beyond through the sun.
Wow.
It is the gate, which is opening to the transcendental. And actually, Chkandogya speaks about it explicitly, that the sun is the gate where you go beyond 7 stars, 7 rishis. So you go beyond this universe through the gate of the sun. So in a way, that is from which all the forces, all the spiritual forces and embodied souls come here. We are the rays of the sun here. So Yama is that gathering point of all this work into one meaningful path. It's always said that he is creating and clarifying the path for many. Many would not find the path if that gathering point would not be there.
Now, but you said the Petries are represented by the moon. So, and that has a completely regular, predictable path, a predictable road.
Right. The moon is, and the moon path, the Pitriyana path, is the path of the creating the instruments here, embodying the instruments. So making them more and more suitable. And that has to have its own kind of dimension. The soul, which is embodied here, is the Devayana path. And here Yama is the one who is in charge of the soul and not of the body. Notice. And in this sense, he cannot be totally explained as the Lord of Death, because if he has nothing to do with the body, then how come he is the Lord of Death? Pitriyana stands separately from him as if, because he is the son of the sun. You know?
But you said he was the first Pitri.
Right. Right. And he is the first Pitri. He takes care of the soul which is evolving here. The soul evolving, not the soul not evolving. If you say, but he is the soul, then, but the soul which is evolving, that's why Pitriyana. Because it needs to come back.
I see.
So in the second verse, there will be again mentioned Gatum, the path. Yeah. Yamo no Gatum prathamo viveda, naisha gavyutich apabhartavahu, yatranach purve pitarach pareyuch, ena jajnanach pathiya anusvach. Yama first found for us a place to dwell in. This pasture never can be taken from us. It's also interesting. Men born on earth tread their own paths that lead them whither our ancient fathers have departed.
So beautiful.
Yeah, let us go word by word. Yama nach gatum prathamo viveda, very simple language. He first discovered, literally, viveda. He first, better. Yama first, I'm wrong, put it, first discovered our path.
Oh, yeah, that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it makes a little difference, but still. He discovered our first path, or he first discovered. He is the first one who discovered our path, opened up, came to know about the path. Gatum, the movement, the path. Naisha gavyutich apabhartavau. And na esha gavi utich, not this expansion of light, gavi in the light, expansion or growth, this one cannot be taken away from us, led away, or carried away, literally. Apabhartavau, na apabhartavau. This is a very beautiful Vedic language. You don't have it later.
The pasture, you mean?
Everything. No, apabhartavau, this tavai, this type of suffixes are not available in classical. It will be tavya, apabhartavyam. But here, apabhartavai. Yatra napurve pitarach pareyuch. There where our first fathers, our ancient fathers went or has gone there. Ena, their jajnanach, those who are born here, patiya anusvach, follow according to their own path. It's also interesting, according to their own path, they follow there, where all our ancestors went, has gone. So it is because of him they freely, in accordance with their own pace and place, they can go. They know where to go. Again, path is mentioned. Yama first discovered our path. So we have to travel somewhere. We have to, when we leave our body, we have to go there.
Why do you think people are so afraid of that?
Well, there is a reason for this. Actually, Mother describes it. The reason is that all this traveling beyond was uh, accompanied by all the dangers, yeah, of the vital world. We have to go over the abyss, and from that abyss, all kind of creatures come in and can take advantage of our traveling situation, yeah? Mm, and harm us quite a bit. Uh, and in that sense, we kind of accumulated that memory of danger. But Mother said that, interestingly, that she created, in 20th century, there was a path created, I will say,
In which century?
in 20th century. There
Okay.
was a safe path created for all beings being born here, a tunnel which leads you to the light, which protects you from these attacks. And that's why many people who had after death experience, they speak very
Clearly.
clearly and beautifully about this path. They say that they came there and they wanted to go there. They don't feel any danger, nothing. They are drawn to it. And this is something new, which was not there before. Yeah? So in that sense, we are much safer now to go there.
Hmm.
It's a good news for us, by the way, that we don't have to worry about this path, because otherwise he was sending his Saramaya dogs, and these Saramaya dogs with 4 eyes,
Yes.
they look into every corner, they see all possible attacks, and they protect the soul. That was his business, to protect the soul over the abyss.
Yamas, you mean?
Yamas, yeah.
Yeah. So then that's the difference between a peaceful and a tormented death, then.
Right,
The ability to cross over without danger.
right. Some souls most probably are, by their gravity, are drawn to this kind of heavy business because they lived like this, and I mean to this violence and so on, and distrust, and and they are drawn by the gravity, by the heaviness of their own accumulated behavior. In these first hours or first days, they will be drawn to that hell, so to say.
Well, I was just going to ask you if that's what hell is. I mean, if hell is that area in between
Right,
where all those dark forces.
right. It is that area, and if you are drawn to it, if you dive into that darkness, that would be hell. And there are most probably levels of that darkness. The deeper, the deeper you go, the more you have the narrowed consciousness, which our soul cannot really mm, be happy with.
But Yama is still in charge of those beings as well, right? There, he's still guiding that.
Right. I think so. He is guiding all the souls.
All
He
the
showed,
souls.
yes, or he showed the path to. Although it is
Well,
said
it
in
says
many
that
scriptures,
pasture can never be taken from us. I mean, it's
right,
I guess it's just part of what the design is.
right. But there is something interesting here. It doesn't say that he showed the path, clarified the path for all. It says for many. And this word many, I think
Oh, that's so interesting.
it's not most probably for really everybody, yeah, but for
So which word is that? Please tell me which word that is. Many.
Bahubiyah.
Say it again.
Bahubiyah, I made it blue.
Vaho. Yeah.
Biyah. Bahubiyah, too many. He showed the path, clarified.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, if it would be, for example, Sarvebhyah to all, or Vishvebhyah to all, which could be, then it would be clear what you say, that he takes charge or care of everyone. But here, I don't know.
Maybe that's the, you say, think to yourself, why on earth would I have been born in such a dark, or such a not dark but conflicted
Right.
circumstance? But that's the answer then, correct? I mean, in this verse is where the answer.
Or even Mother gives very good answer to this, that she says that souls also can take an approximate environment, yeah, because they are so already powerful in their decision to do things. They will come out from any not suitable circumstances, because they are looking for this. Even if they will be born in some concentration camp, they will find a way for getting that experience they are looking for. You see, in that sense, that could be also not a bad answer. I would love
You
that.
consider, is that justice?
Yeah, we are here to do this work of transformation. So why can't I take on myself some dark and not suitable environment? I can take it. And by the way, many people who were in this non-suitable environment are usually the greatest workers and yogis. Yeah?
Right. Yes.
And this
Yes.
is true. It's true. And
It's absolutely true. It seems to be true. That's certainly been, those are Maharshi came here and, he said, why not, I have the blessing of the Himalayas. Why not give it to all the people? And the whole TM movement has been Maharshi's, incredible compassion for all of mankind. And yet, he's given it so openly and so freely. Of course, I mean, there's a charge for it, but it's open to anyone. And yet, the people who've picked it up and kept it and done the work are often not the people who it comes so easily to. They're the people who really have to really focus and do the work, and sitting there for all those hours every day. I mean, that takes some
right.
it takes
I can see this clearly, that the people who have challenges, they are better workers. They are meant for this path than those who are, talented, and because talented people will do something for themselves. They would not waste their time doing something spiritual or something. I saw it many times. I have students.
Vladimir, could you adjust your camera a little bit so that it's like that? Yeah, thank you.
And I have students in Sanskrit, for example. I had a big group, and from that big group, only one student left now after 1.5 years. And that student can't hear properly. Old lady on pension, Russian pension, with very few paisa, little money. And I told her, maybe you don't have to pay me anything. If you want to, we can continue. No, she wants to pay. She doesn't want, from her pension, she cuts a little money to send me to study Sanskrit. Incredible person who never studied any language, could not understand any category, now is the best student, I must say. She made it, Nice.
Well, I think she's very wise to pay you, because if she didn't pay,
She
huh?
insisted. She insisted to pay, and I
Well,
must.
that's great wisdom, because the truth is, I mean, what you have these great teachers, and if what they give you is inestimable. You can't put a price on it anyway, but then you're left with a debt. You're left with a debt that would cripple you.
Maybe that's what the meaning of dakshina was. Yes.
Exactly. She's very right to pay you, because otherwise she'd be
Interesting. I never thought about it. It's the
she'd
first
be
time.
crippled. She'd be crippled in the future, because she would owe you more than she could ever possibly pay.
Yeah, it's something I never thought of. You brought new thought about dakshina. I never saw
Well,
that.
I feel like, Maharshi has made us go out in the world and ask an impossible amount of money for learning TM. And everybody's so, the public and everybody is so, uh, you know, you know, angry about it all the time. Why do you have to pay for this? It should be free, and it should be this and that. It should be. I mean, there's no amount that you can possibly charge. It's for the Veda. I mean, what can you pay? For this. There's the light and the but the teacher who gives it to you, is you have. I mean, you have to do something. You have to, or else you'd be indebted to them for eternity.
I am thinking about 20 years of my teaching for free. How many how many cripples I created.
How many people who will be following you around for a long time?
In the next life, they will all come and they will crawl on me.
They will all crawl over you and say, how many children you'll have to have. Yeah.
Crazy. Very funny.
It's a gift. She should pay. She should pay because that's her freedom.
And she wants, I was surprised because I know how little she gets, And sometimes she wanted to go to India. She wanted to save some money. And she was telling me, you see, I will pay double less because I want to collect money to go to India. I said, you don't have to pay. I understand that we were in the group and the group was paying. Those who can pay, they have money and so on. But those are gone, those talented.
Exactly.
Then those who can sing, who can hear, who can articulate, who can go very fast, they are no more there. And this person is here, you see. And she is doing the work, and she says her life has changed. She has
absolutely, of course, her life has changed. How can you be exposed to this without having your life completely,
influenced? So she's looking forward to all the challenges, studies, and this is something really encouraging. I'm very happy to know that it may make such a difference for somebody.
Well, and it's so interesting because you and Penny and I, and there are a few people, there are the people who, the Deepak Chopras and the big famous people are, teaching to the lowest, the spiritual tourists, the tourists. And
it's a fashion, in a way.
It's a fashion. And like you're, even you have a handful of people who are, who come
reading,
and who want to go very deep, and there's not many. There won't be many. There'll never be many. And I figured that out a while back, that it's better to have a few.
Well, it's fine. I never.
Well, are we finished with that with number 2? Just to make sure, can we go back just for a minute, just to make sure that, and the expand. But now, just here's the ancient, where the ancient fathers have gone.
Right.
And so, can you speak to that?
Well, this is exactly where our place of the souls, where we are resting, and where we are reconsidering our experience on Earth. When we die, our soul is free to go there, and there is a safe environment there of the ancient fathers, where they went first in the highest heaven. By the way, in the third heaven they live. It's the place for our soul. And there we think.
Does everyone go there?
Everyone, yes. We all go there.
And this consideration, is it? I mean, what kind of consideration is it? Is it just a a realization. It's certainly not an intellect. It's not something there where that understanding is compiled intellectually.
No, intellectual is can be an outcome. We can use it as an instrument to explain it to our outer mind, but inwardly there is a contemplation on what has happened in your life, and you can see it clearly. What you did, where mistakes you made, what difficulties and challenges you had, and then from on that ground, you make a new plan, or new vision, or new intention, yeah, to resolve it and go further. And in that sense, the next reincarnation is defined on the previous contemplation of previous life. So you see clearly, yeah. That's what law of karma is based on, yes, because you have certain things to work out. You made certain mistakes, and now you will have to rectify certain wrong moves in your next reincarnation. So you come there, see it, understand it, comprehend it, and make a new plan. And with a new plan, you go again.
So is that what's meant by beyond those? That there beyond those. So beyond the third heaven, beyond the high, or beyond the ancient fathers, or what does that mean?
Beyond those who are born, beyond. They're beyond.
What's the word?
Wait a minute. Where beyond Pareyuch, they went beyond. The Fasha has gone beyond. Beyond. There. Where our, I'm literally translating from Sanskrit, it doesn't fit into English. Where our fathers has gone beyond, there those who are born here follow up by their own path. I have to find better English for this. Where our ancient fathers, forefathers, has gone beyond, there we can put without those who are born. They're born here. They're those. No, it's not good. Those who are born here. I want to translate Jajnanach. Jajnanach, it is those.
Judge, that's J.
Well, you cannot read Devanagari, Jajnanach?
I can read it a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, partially.
Should I put these, what do you call it? I didn't put this time.
Transliteration. No, I'm working on my Devanagari as we go along. I'm working on it.
Jajnanach. Jajnanach is from Rujan, participle perfect. So those who have born. Yes, those who have born. This is what it is. And in English, it doesn't sound well.
It's all right.
Yeah.
So it's almost like those who are in a condition of having been born or
those who got bodies.
Who got bodies.
Got embodied in the physical body. This is what it means. So those who are born here, that's why I put here, those who got bodies here, follow up their own path. They have their own way to go. It is not that Yama will be controlling them. They will have their own freedom of choice. Yeah? All of them. But all of them, having that freedom of choice and following their own path, will go there where the forefathers are because of Yama. So there is certain freedom maintained and certain directional, so to say, procedure is also there. So to say, it helps them to find their way to the forefathers' place, though they have
Okay.
to go their own way.
Okay, we can go on now.
Матали кав'яих ямо ангеробіх, Брехаспати риква бігва в ридганах, Ян щадева вавридгух є чадеван, Свага ан є свадхаян є маданти. Mitali prospers with Kavyas, Yama with Angirasas, Brihaspati with Rikwans, exalters of the gods, by gods exalted, some joy in praise and some in our oblation. Well, it's an attempt to translate it meaningfully in English. I will be literal now. Mitali is strengthened by Kavyas. Yama is strengthened by Angirasas. Anyhow, this is the verse we will deal next time because there is much to it. So why the Yama is strengthened by Angirasas is very interesting to think.
Yeah, so we can actually add this to our conversation about Shukra and Brihaspati.
Right. I didn't think about this, but Angirasas here is, right. Didn't think about it, but it might be also one of those things.
Well, I think it is. I think it relates anyway. I think it relates because they are gurus, both of them, of course.
Yeah, well, I didn't finish my interpretation reading. Matali is strengthened.
Please adjust your camera. You're going down the bottom.
Okay, sorry. Matali is strengthened by Kavyas, Yama by Angirasas, Brahaspati by those who read Rig Veda, Rik ones who speak Rik, whom gods make grow. I'm literally translating as it is in Sanskrit, and who strengthen the gods. One can put them, but I'm literally, because the word is used. Some rejoice by saying or announcing or pronouncing swaha, and others by pronouncing swadha.
Pronouncing?
Yes.
Pronouncing, by speaking.
Yes, by saying is the wrong word. It's rather by announcing or pronouncing or something more, declaring even. Because swaha and swadha are two exclamation words, mantras, bija mantras, in these Vedic sacrifices.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is.
Well, nobody knows, but they are here and there prescribed to different mantras, and the swaha, you most probably heard it, yes?
Sure.
Amayantu brahmacharinah swaha, vimayantu brahmacharinah swaha, and so on. So this is swaha, and svadha is similar. So for certain mantras, swaha is the conclusive word. For certain mantras, svadha is a conclusive word. I tried to figure out why these words are there long ago. And my first impression was that svadha is a self-establishment. It belongs to the pitriyana, to the body.
To the svadha is
Yes.
pitriyana.
It's self-establishment, literally what it means. Svadha, establishing oneself. Whereas swaha is kind of bringing oneself.
What's the word you use? Bringing?
Bringing or leaving or moving oneself, yes? If I take this aha as bringing in or leaving forwards. So this will be more like moving. One is moving, other is establishing. One is going, other is establishing, yeah? Oneself. So oneself going and oneself establishing. And these two movements, I think they are very significant. Svaha is used for the gods and Svadha for Pitris. We have Devayana and Pitriyana exclamation word. Two words. And here they are definitely beautifully defined in a new fashion. Whom gods make grow and who strengthen gods.
Aha. So Svaha makes the gods grow, and Svadha, the gods reverse the flow back towards earth, towards the embodiment.
Right. There are two different consideration of with the gods. Yeah. One
Wow.
is that you make them grow, and other that they make you stronger.
Well, or they make use, and once again you come back to that thing that I from the Gita. Well, I guess the Gita got it from here, that the gods and man have this mutual
right. Obligation.
Mutual obligation. Beautiful.
Right. They support each other, and by this support, by the sacrifice, they grow to the highest good, both of them. And that is what it is. Yeah. And this is a very good explanation for Svaha and Svadha exclamation. I think it is self-explanatory. We don't need more.
I mean, it's brilliant.
Good.
It's a total unfoldment.
It's good.
Very, very good. Very good.
Okay.
So you need to go. We'll meet on Thursday for
right.
For transparent technology.
We will move into U, most probably.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely keeping up with you. But I'm trusting, as you pointed out at the very beginning, that at some point it's going to
click.
It's going to really click, and some unfoldment from inside of my articulatory apparatus is going to unfold the whole thing. But it's tentative, and I know, but I'm with you. I'm definitely on with this program. It seemed like last time, at least you got something that you have.
I'm always getting. And this is the point. Once it is clicking and you know where to go, you have just to go. We are going there. We are not really. I'm not telling you what I already. Of course, there are many things you have to learn from what I have, language and so on and so forth, considerations, concepts, and so on. That's why it is a little kind of. But truly speaking, we are all discovering every time anew. And if it won't be so, then there would be no way to do it. There is no way. That's why everybody stopped it is considered to be completely wrong direction in science, because nobody wants to go there where you don't have a ground. You cannot build on the ground bit by bit, as everybody wants, because this ground was never made. We have to make these bricks, and these bricks are in our consciousness. They are not outside. So if nobody wants to have them inside, so how would they come to this? They would not able to do it.
Well, I'm in. So I'll meet you at Thursday at past, and
you are Maharishi's child, so you have to be in, because I'm looking forward. Maybe one day you will send me what Maharishi was talking on, which you were saying. If you have something of it, I would love to read.
I'll see what I can find. I'll see what he's spoken on this for probably, maybe 2,000 hours, on nothing but you know. I mean, at
Is it
thousands.
recorded? Maybe it is. One can listen to it. It's even better to listen than to read.
Yeah, I think so. But yes, it is but I'm
Maybe
not.
there is a website I can sign in or something and listen. Must be something. Yeah.
It is, but we have all 35,000 hours in a library of Maharishi's lectures, all 35,000 hours
Maybe I
of
can
his.
sign into that library or something.
Well, I'm not sure that I can. I'm not. It's very
For who?
closely guarded and monitored, and um, you can they that library releases certain lectures for the public consumption, and or for the teachers to be able to play on courses and that kind of thing, but it's not universally available. But I'm sure that I have something and I can find it if I dig for it, and I would like to do that. I would like to do that, and I would like to get a hold of our press and see if there's any way that I can get one of Maharaja's books mail to you about Veda and physiology, because I think you'd really appreciate that.
Right, very nice. So please do. Yeah, I'm looking.
I actually would. It occurs to me I would need to have an address where to send it. So if you feel like sharing your address with me, I'll
Sure,
try and
sure.
find a way to send you a copy of that book.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, very good.
Okay, let's do mantra. I have to go to. I have another call.
All right.